Hello, and thank you everyone for joining us for this presentation. Today's topic centers on improving performance and customer satisfaction with integrated payment gateways for Epicor. We'll get some housekeeping out of the way first. Please note that everyone is muted by default. However, I invite you to submit any questions or comments in the chat field or the Q&A section of the Zoom control panel. We'll be sure to get to those at the end of the session. This presentation is being recorded as well, and we'll provide a link to the on-demand recording for you to review or share with colleagues at your convenience. Today's presenters include myself, Sean Balog of Encompass, and Brad Pendley of Century Business Solutions. If you're not familiar with Encompass already, I will tell you that we not only provide manufacturing efficiency tools and enterprise solutions by way of ERP and EDI software, but we also specialize in identifying operational gaps and the appropriate means to bridge them. Century Business Solutions and their product EBizCharge serve as one such example. It extends Epicor's functionality and improves the security of electronic and online payment processes. We've invited Brad here to tell you about that in a bit more detail. With that said, if you're ready, Brad, I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and hand things over to you.
Okay, thank you, Sean. I appreciate it. Let me get my screen ready to share here. All right, hopefully everybody can see my screen here. Hold on, let me share. Once again, Sean, thanks a lot, and welcome to everybody for the call. That's on the call. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to briefly listen to what we do and how we've partnered with Encompass to help to help streamline your operations and provide you with a solution within the Epicor ERP. As Sean mentioned, my name is Brad Pendley, and I'm the Director of Strategic Partnerships here at Century Business Solutions. EBizCharge, that's a product by Century, and that is our tool that we use to provide the integrated payments within Epicor. Optimizing your payments in 2021, obviously things have changed for everybody, for business operations all around, and obviously that holds true in the payments as well. Customers, it was already starting before we were hit with this pandemic, and now it's just the rate of acceleration has steepened, I guess, for lack of a better term. Customers, all customers, myself included, we expect easy digital contactless payments, and you as providers of a good service, whatever it may be, you need to figure out a way to deliver on the expectation of your end user, of your customer. The integrated payment gateway for Epicor that we have multiple payment options, which I'll get into later into the presentation that we have. Some of those, give the customers the enablement to handle payments on their terms. They sort of, for lack of a better term, drive the bus. Of what they're paying, when they're paying, if they're paying partial payments, if they're paying full invoices, if they want to pay multiple invoices at one time, however they want to do it, and that can be created based upon the terms that they have set forth with you as the merchant. And the buy-in experience that we provide it's safer, it's convenient, and it's, as I alluded to before, it's much more efficient. And it's great because one of the things that not only is it good for the company that decides to take advantage of an integrated payments piece, just from a cost-effective and efficiency standpoint, but we've shown that it increases the loyalty and repeat business from your customers. That's a proven fact. A little bit more about EBizCharge and Epicor. We do have an add-on for Epicor. It is, as we like to say, the most robust one out there. I know we do have some competitors, but we found a lot of customers come to us because of the capabilities we provide to the merchant. You can accept all form of payments. You can accept credit, debit, e-check payments, all within Epicor. We have an email payment service that's integrated as well, and the self-service customer portal, which I had briefly mentioned. And everything is, automatic reconciliation within Epicor. and we support some niche industries that some through our underwriting and relationships that we have, some other processes are not able to support some of these industries. You can speak with your representative at Encompass regarding that, because we have helped them out in a couple of ways. This is processing. This is just a brief screenshot of showing you kind of what it looks like within Epicor through the sales order entry. You can accept the credit cards, the e-check, or EMV payments if it happens to be you have a storefront, maybe you're a distributor or something along those lines, and you've got a big warehouse in the back, but you do have some traffic that comes in on the front, and they want to accept payments, there at the desk or anything, wherever you have that. That ability to accept payments where card present, we call them. So we do have EMV payments, which is, European MasterCard Visa. That for us, basically, that's just the chip-enabled card. And those go directly inside Epicor as well. And the payments, they'll be automatically applied back, and the balance due will be updated if there is a running balance or anything there. Normally, it's just a cash receipts type transaction, but there's just one of many examples of different ways that you can take payments. And this just briefly shows you, like I said, everybody here on the call, I'm sure, is familiar with Epicor and inside and what these screenshots look like. So if you just want to take a look at that, it shows you how it works. And this is one of the functions I had spoke about. This is email pay. And email pay is, as it says there, the card holder, your customer, receives an email that links to this payment form. Now, this payment form, as you can see, if you look at the right-hand side, it's a secure payment form. What this does is this takes that particular invoice, and we have, our team can walk you through setting this up. As long as there's an email address attached to that particular customer, and you want them to receive that email, to receive that invoice. Once that invoice is generated, it's created, it shows what they owe, then it immediately gets sent to that particular email address that's with that customer. And they simply click on the link. When they click on the link, they'll be able, if you look at your screen on the right-hand side, you can see that form will pop up. It says pay by credit card there, but it will also say, if they want to do ACH, it will say ACH or e-check right next to pay by credit card. And what this does is this goes through, and this is specifically a one-time payment pertaining to this invoice, in this case, invoice 3234 for $450. So this is a one-time payment that this customer is making on this particular invoice. Now, when they get that and they want to see the invoice where it says on the left-hand side where it says an invoice is ready for you, then they can simply view the invoice. So that will give them a line item detail of what this invoice has on it, what it has, the particular items, the quantity of the items, the total cost of those items, which will calculate down and give you and give them, a breakdown of the $450 in this case total charge. So, but the key here is this is a one-time payment for that particular invoice. Once that is paid and they simply go down, they've read and agreed to the terms and conditions, they put all of their information in, the customer has done that, they hit pay now, it's paid, and this goes back into Epicor, and that particular invoice has now been reconciled. And it will obviously go to the GL that you've that it's been assigned to through the permissions and everything within Epicor. So that key there, one-time payment, paying just that particular invoice. Great for customers that, it's great. The people that we have, the customers that we have that enjoy the email pay are, bam, it's done, the invoice is created, we're ready to invoice, let's just ship it now, so they can simply click on that link and pay it right then and there. So, sometimes it's for one-time customers, sometimes repeat customers. It's a great reminder for them. As soon as they get something from you, they know this link is to pay it, and they just want to pay it right then, and they want to get it off their books. They want to know that it's paid, and they want to get it back over to you. Also good for, kind of reminders and things like that. If you don't, want to pick up the phone and it's not effective, and you go back in, you see you have this invoice outstanding, you can send that again, and you can send that request payment link, and then they can go ahead and they can pay it that way. So a couple of different areas within your business model where this could work. Let's go to the next slide here. Now this is the customer payment portal. Before I begin here, there's the key differentiators is email pay is initiated by you being the merchant. You are the one that is initiating that transaction. You've got it in. We have you set up to email pay, so every time something comes in that the invoice is created for that particular customer, it's automatically going out. That's the way you set it up. That's how you want it done, and you want that to happen on every single invoice. Key is there's got to be it's got to be checked in the permissions within Epicor, and then it goes out and it's sent to the customer. But again, that is merchant initiated, going directly to the customer. The customer payment portal, now this is a secure, as you can see, it's a secure online portal where the cardholders, your customers, they can pay off any open invoices and they can save their payment methods. Maybe they got a new card, maybe a card is expiring, or maybe they they got some great Capital One Visa, but now Amex is pushing them and really wants them to go, so they're getting more rewards there. Whatever the case may be, they can save their different payment methods, for you to use at any future time to run a charge or to set up any kind of recurring billing as well. One thing I did want to say here is that, as you can see on the right hand, or as you can see over here, we can customize this page to look however you want it to look. We just happen to have, with a nice little laptop there, we just happen to have, the Better Business Bureau. That's a customer of ours. So we've gone ahead and created that to reflect the Better Business Bureau. As you can see over here, there's other customers that we have that where they wanted their logo on the actual page. So that can be done. That goes directly through our in-house support team. They can walk you through how to do that, and they can be able to set that up for you. So, and obviously the portal URL includes the merchant's name. It's customized. It's embedded. That portal, that URL is obviously embedded directly to for security features. It's an embedded portal. It's an embedded address strictly assigned to you. And this is another form of payment that we have, and this is our mobile application. If you go to Google Play or your Android store, or Google Play is your Android, or your Apple Store, you could look up EBizCharge, and this will come up. We do provide mobile pay for both Android and Apple devices, and this gives your customers gives your users actually. So if you have any field personnel or anybody that would take payments, as we like to say, on the fly, they may be a service industry, as you saw in there where there was Roto-Rooter on the previous page. They may be going out to do a particular call. Here's what they have to do. It's very standard. It's a maintenance type thing. The standard cost is this. The invoice was created in Epicor. Then it syncs to the mobile device. They go there, and the customer wants to make the payment right then. The payment's done, and then it'll go back and it will talk to Epicor there. The features for this is it runs quick sales. You can search and pay off customer invoices that are already in the Epicor system. You can create invoices and sales orders, and you can issue refunds. Your employees can issue refunds from the actual phone that they're on. And again, I said it's available for iOS and Android devices through the App Store and Google Play. It's another payment method that we have. And this is where, quite frankly, this is where the uptick in payments and digital payments and frictionless payments and everything, this is where we have seen the biggest uptick. You can see there that you've got the Epicor Commerce Connect, you've got the EBizCharge logo there, excuse me, and then this is just a brief. This is basically just a bunch of logos to let you know how many integrations and everything that we have. I know for some of the clients that we've worked with, and Encompass can speak to this. They have a Magento shopping cart and a Magento catalog or store or whatever your business would need, and then that will integrate with Epicor. We have stuff with WooCommerce. We have, as you see, XCart, 3D carts. We can take any front end shopping cart that you have if you already have it set up, and we can provide the integration back into Epicor there, whether it be a one-time transaction or a lot of times now with manufacturing distribution, it's multiple. You have a lot of repeat customers, but they'd rather just go online and they'd rather pay it that way. They'd rather order their supplies. They'd rather not talk to anybody, not have to do anything, and just do everything online. We have the ability to do that. As you can see, by using the EBizCharge Epicor integration, you can utilize the connectors we have already built to these platforms, and we've also done it to CRM. You see Salesforce down there, and Soho has a CRM as well. So that's really, like I said, that's something to pay attention to, because I only see it in the future that's where it's going. I always refer to it as kind of the Amazon world. I mean, you can order anything from Amazon, you can do anything from Amazon, you can return anything from Amazon, you can subscribe at Amazon, but good luck talking to anybody at Amazon. That's just not the way their business model is. They've built this, they've adapted this, and that's where the manufacturing and distribution piece is moving forward. And this is huge, this piece of it, because, I mean, what a great time for this, or not a great time, but, Colonial Pipeline, and then I heard something today about a major food distributor or manufacturer throughout the world got hacked, and their system is down and everything. Their security is, if it's not number one, it's in the top three of things that you as merchants look for. You've got to have, the data has got to be secure, especially when you're dealing with your customers' financial data. So our integration and our solutions all provide tokenization and encryption. What that means is that if somebody enters in a one-time credit card number and they make a payment, whether it be through the email pay or whether it be through the customer portal or whether it be through our request payment method, what happens is that card goes behind the EBizCharge product, which is our gateway, and it's turned into a GUID, and a GUID's a fancy name. That's what a token is. So what you'll see in your Epicor ERP, when it's assigned to a customer, what you're going to see in there, and if anybody's having integrated payments now or does any kind of payments now, you'll see that you get what's called a truncated card. So you're only going to see the last four. Your system does never hold the full card. That's on us. And that's how we get that nice little certification there, is we are constantly audited, constantly reviewed, constantly tested. We have to update our security, update our systems on a continuous basis to make sure that we're PCI compliant. PCI stands for Payment Card Industry. All of our storage and everything is done off-site, so we have different data centers that we work with that we have. So everything, the off-site data storage not only pertains to our server farm and our vault back in Irvine, but there's obviously other areas to where that is stored as well. But it's never on site. It's never on your systems at all. PCI compliance, as I mentioned, it refers to a business complying with the operational and technical standards to ensure that the credit card data is safe. And we walk you through as a merchant, because not only does the EBizCharge gateway have to be PCI compliant, so does the merchant's network and how they're taking it, their processes and everything there. But one of the things that sets us apart is we have a whole PCI compliance team that sits out in my office in Irvine that will walk you through and show you, the compliance, what will make you compliant, what will prevent you from becoming compliant, and they will walk you through that process to make sure you are compliant. To take it a step further, we have some customizable fraud modules, which I'll get into on the next slide. A big thing that happened a couple years ago was TLS, which pertained to the software that people were using, and that companies like Century, we had to become and update it to TLS 1.2, which is, that's the latest protocol, as I said, that protects the customer's data when sending it online. So it was TLS 1, now it's 1.2 because they saw that there was more attempts. So they updated those protocols, and each processor had to do that as well. And again, as I mentioned before, the EMV terminals, Europe was way ahead of us, so that's in the industry we call them the European MasterCard Visa terminals. So you can accept all the payments, but it's simply that chip-enabled payment. And we have plenty of portals for you to choose from, or plenty of terminals for you to choose from that can, you insert the card, it'll tell you when to take the card out and everything there. So the days of the swipe, they're not gone, but they're slowly but surely going away. So this goes back into what what I spoke briefly about on the previous slide. This is some of the fraud prevention modules we have. You can use module controls through our EBizCharge gateway, and you can set up any number of levels of security, and you can personalize your gateway. Some people want it as minimum as possible, just what do I need to do to be PCI? Other people who may have had a bad experience with a previous processor or are just very forthright about their security. They want to make sure that they can do everything they can, to prevent anything from happening. So, you got we can block by countries. We can go and source an IP address that's from a certain country, and if a country is, well, you just don't want to do business with them because it could be a fraudulent country, then we can do that and we can block that out. We can block by certain IP addresses. There's always dark web stuff that's going on. There's certain IP addresses that we get reports on. Our Chief Information Security Officer gets reports on daily of things to look for within an IP address. Maybe it's one consistent number at one portion of that IP address. You can block certain IP addresses. Duplicate transaction control. This basically just says that this is an extra measure that's put in so the customer is not double charged. Those are just some of the features that we offer that kind of enriches that fraud piece. And this is this is just what we found, what happens of why merchants don't store the information properly, is because it won't. There's hundreds of millions of businesses out there. It'll never happen to me. It's for convenience, they don't, it's sometimes it's an extra step to set up those fraud modules, and it's an extra step to do this, and sometimes if it's a one-time customer and you don't have the right payment set up, or you don't have an integrated payments, and you've got to go to another virtual terminal, and then you've got to do that, then you've got to sync it back in, but you don't have time to do that because you're getting ready to meet Betty for lunch, so you write down a credit card number, and you put it on that little Post-it note that's right in your office. Well, that hour you're gone meeting Betty, somebody else could get that credit card number. But when you go back, as opposed to having to go in and type it in and secure that transaction right now, it may not be that convenient at that point in time. But, that's why the information isn't stored properly, because that's obviously a definite violation. And again, the old adage, no one will target me. I'm a small shop in middle America. There's much more bigger fish out there to fry. Nobody's going to go after me. Where small businesses are constantly small. The SMB market is constantly being targeted for data breaches, data manipulation. They want to, whatever's open and wherever there's some sort of door that these, bad actors can get into, they will target it. And then again, security solutions are too complicated. We've tried to eliminate that for you. Especially at least on the payment side where we play, the space that we play in with our, extended fraud modules. And I've said it 3 times, and I'll continue to say it. Our in-house support are all Century Business Solutions employees, and they sit in Irvine, California. There's no third party overseas. Nothing happens there. So everybody, and they will walk you through how to set this up. Walk you through, test it to make sure the transaction went through, and to make sure all of those modules and everything were set up. and they think they're too expensive, and some of them are. Quite frankly, ours are not. Ours are all included within the merchant account that you've signed up with EBizCharge. It's added features. Now, there's some of the fraud modules that if you want to go heavy duty, if it costs, some development dollars or something like that, that may be a little extra, but that's a case-by-case basis. Everything you need to do to be PCI compliant is included. If you want to add some more, some other modules, then you can talk to Encompass about that, and then we can work together on that. But in comparison with some of these other solutions that are security solutions that are flooding the TV and commercials and everything right now, the cost is not too expensive. And, it's kind of the old question of what's the cost if you don't do it? And that could be a lot more. Briefly, I've been in the industry for a long time, and I had a couple of companies that were not PCI compliant and did not take security seriously. They got breached. When you get breached, you have to have one of the associations, either whatever the card was that got breached, so either whether it be MasterCard, Visa, Discover, or American Express, they have to do an audit, and they have certain auditors that they have certified on their particular brand, and you as the merchant have to pay for that auditor. And I've seen them anywhere, depending on the size of the breach, depending on the dollar amount, depending on the amount of time the breach has been going on, when it was notified, when it was noticed. I've seen it anywhere from, on the low end, $30,000. I've seen it up to several $100,000. And there's some companies, unfortunately, that did not take this serious, that are no longer in business. So, not to scare you, just to let you know that it's very important. The security is a huge part of this, and that's why we make it such a large part of our presentation, just to let you know how seriously we take it. And here's kind of what I briefly spoke about, but here's a short list of the do's and don'ts of storing the card information. We'll just go through this. Obviously, don't ever have customers text you any credit card information. Don't take pictures of credit cards and share them via email or text, because between that picture and it going through that email, it's open right there. Don't ever write credit card numbers down on paper, sticky notes, or collect credit card number over email with credit card PDF forms. It's the same. It's the computer's way of doing a sticky note. Basically, you need to have that secure link that I alluded to with our email pay. It's got to be encrypted, it's got to be secured and everything there. You don't want anything through a PDF where you just send a PDF that has your nice logo on it. They automatically fill in their credit card information and they send that PDF back to you, and then now it's on a file that's on your computer, and you're like, hey, well, look, I'm real safe now. No, because then they can get in. They hack your computer, and before you know it, they've got everything that's in that folder, all those PDFs that are in that folder. They now have the credit card information. What you should do, and why one of the reasons we're on the phone today, is use the third-party security solution, which we provide. Store info off-site, what you're doing with us, as I said, it's behind our EBizCharge gateway. You are only going to see the truncated last four of the card, and that's what goes into the next one. Encrypt and tokenize the card numbers, which we do. Maintain payment card industry compliance. We do it, and we will help you do it. And if you are doing card present transactions, use the EMV equipped terminals. That's the chip card. If you've got the old swipe machines or the old, it's not even really the machines that have the numbers on it. Now you'll walk into a lot of places and they'll have it's literally just called a swiper, and it'll attach to a computer via like Velcro or something like that, and you'll just swipe your card through. That's still practiced a lot because it's easy to. You plug it in and basically it's ready to go, but they're not secure, and not as secure as the EMV equipped terminals. And to dovetail off of that, use the PCI approved hardware. So the EMV and the payment card industry approved hardware. You want to make sure that those, because each of those terminals, when you think about it, when you take a credit card and you put it in the chip reader, those terminals they're mini computers. So each of those terminals has to be certified from a PCI standpoint. The way that they're built, what components are in there, are the components certified? When they went through, were the test transactions, did it pass everything according to payment card industry? So make sure you use those as well. And all of the ones that Century provides are, all of our hardware and everything that we have is our PCI approved. This just a little bit, I'll wrap it up here with a little bit about Century Business Solutions, who you're doing business with. We've been simplifying the payments industry since 2004, so going on our 17th year. We process over $6 billion annually. We have over 30, that's actually, they need to update this slide, that's over 40,000 users now. We're a software developer, merchant processor, and payment gateway all in one. So that's how we're able to have so many software integrations. We do everything in-house. All of our integrations and everything are written by our developers that, again, set out in Irvine right next to support. And here's just some of the awards that we've continued to win. This goes back. These are just with the Stevie Awards that you have down here. We're up to gold now. Card Not Present, which is the CMP Awards. Inc. 5000. We're on that every year. So we're noticed by the industry for our solutions. And you can learn more about our integrated payment solution and what we offer, as it relates to Epicor. You can learn about it. You can go to EBizCharge.com. You can briefly be a little YouTube video there if you want to take a look before you contact anybody at Encompass, or I recommend you immediately contact your whoever your representative there at Encompass is, and then they can put us in touch and we can get the process started. Once again, Sean, the whole Encompass team, I appreciate it. Everybody on the call, thank you very much for your time, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions now if anybody has any.
Excellent. Thank you, Brad. We did have one question come in earlier. I believe it was on the slide where you were showing all the front-end shopping carts. Okay. And the question is, what is the Odoo input that connects to Epicor Commerce Connect? Is the EBizCharge gateway written on that platform?
On Odoo, yes.
Okay. And it doesn't appear that we have any more questions coming in. So okay. I guess we can yield the remainder of time back to the audience. And I'll thank you again for taking some time out of your day to learn about EBizCharge.